we're going to go a little bit deeper into a retirement topic, and that is plan for your retirement income. So when you get to that stage, when you're needing this money that you've accumulated and you've saved for so long, today we're going to focus on that topic. There's a little bit of a change, so it's no longer retirement planning for women, it's plan for your retirement income. And we are kicking off National Retirement Securities Week with the City of Appleton. This is the first time this city has had this initiative to talk about all kinds of different financially related topics. And again, I'm Julie from Voya to talk about your income. So you're saving, what are you going to do when you retire and you need to start spending that money? My background is an educator. I was a teacher as my first career, so I always say, please stop me, please ask questions. This is your time. We have about 35, 40 minutes together. We'll have about 5, 10 minutes at the end for questions. But in the midst of the presentation, if you have questions, why not ask them, right? Okay, so with further ado, let's take it away. Here I am, Julie. Love this picture. I really think of retirement like this, like just having fun, ready to go on vacation, right? Get that new toy that you've always wanted now that you are retired. A plan for income in the early, middle, and later stages of retirement is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some income sources today, any kind of gaps, and we're going to talk about risks associated with your retirement and investing. And we're going to talk about how to get more help. Some important disclosures. Orange money. Who's familiar with orange money? Woo! Love it. Okay, what is orange money for a football? Chris, going deep, going back. He does not have pretzels in his mouth right now.
It's the money you're building up before retirement, like it says on the slide, right?
Exactly. Yep. Anybody interact with the Orange Money tool online? Tell me a little bit more about it. What's kind of unique about Voya's discussion on Orange Money? It's for retirement. Do we have any other additional discussions? Okay, cool. It is kind of a game simulator, right? So, you know, with the retirement, with My Orange Money, it's orange. And so we think of orange as those are your later dollars. Those are your retirement dollars, okay? And when you go online and you log into your account, if your entire dollar is full, that means you're on track to replace 70% of your income at retirement, okay? You can add your pension information off of your statement. If you don't have that readily available from WRS, we have the WRS calculator in place. The calculator is going to be a little bit more off compared to your statement. Your statement's going to be the real number. But our calculator online at least gives you an idea, okay? So it's going to take your current 457 account balance. We know what's in it because we're the record keeper for it. You can add outside retirement accounts that you have or outside resources for retirement, be an IRA, a 401k, lump sums that you'll be getting, rental income. So you can really add all of those different buckets that you're going to be receiving in retirement, and it lets you know if you're on track to replace 70% of your salary at a given age. Again, your dollar will be not completely full if you're not on track, and it'll show you what that gap is. And then it's up to you if you want to take some action. And going online, you can just press a button to change your deferral percentage to fill in that gap if you so desire, which is very cool, tied right to your payroll. So part of your income when you are in retirement is to know what you have and how much you should be spending, right? I would say from experience that first year can be pretty challenging with, I have this money coming in, but I'm spending this amount. Am I overspending? Am I overspending? You know, so it's really a great idea to look at your expenses and track them. So on your table, there are two pamphlets. So the first one we're going to look at is this brochure, and it's called Get in Charge of Your Money. It has the piggy bank on it. So an old school way of tracking your expenses is to literally write them down. And if you've never done it before, this might be a good tool for you. It really is looking at what you think you're going to spend, what your anticipated costs. So let's go ahead and open this. What's your estimate and what's your actual? And there are 12 of these sheets in here. So every month you can go ahead and use this to get yourself on track to start looking at your expenses if you haven't already. Now, if retirement is far off for you, some of this might be hard to calculate what your retirement expenses are going to be. I think it's still a really good activity to do because you do find things that you're spending too much money on, or you forget about a magazine subscription, or you look at your credit card and you say, wow, where did that fee come from? You're looking very closely at all of your expenses. Okay? Is this also a good activity to do as a family, maybe with your spouse? Yes. Being on the same page with what your spending habits are is a really, really great thing to do. And have time, of all the time that you have throughout the month, is this a priority? Is this something that you actually work into your monthly timetable? Okay, so let's look at a few ways that you can look at your expenses. So in retirement, let's talk more about expenses. Anybody know of some expenses that might go down for a football? Okay, so that deferred comp percentage, you know, that pension that you were putting, the WRS off your paycheck, that's going away. And thank you. I think that having no mortgage is a really great thing that we should all strive for. You know, and a lot of people are looking to do that right before they retire. I don't want to have a mortgage payment. I want to work really hard to be done with that. Some expenses may go down. Taxes, mortgage payments, family expenses. Kids might have moved out of the home or you're not paying for college anymore. So these are things that could possibly be going down for you. Employment expenses, uniforms, dry cleaning. Other expenses may be going up. I can't give away all my footballs, but does anybody think that maybe what the number one expense that's on a lot of your minds? Health. Travel or health care. For many people, it is health care. So other expenses may go up like health care. For an average 65-year-old couple, retired couple, this is from a 2016 study, the amount of money that they'll pay throughout their lifetime is over about $300,000 in out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. Couple, so a couple, husband and wife. I'm not going to go too deep into the Medicare and the premiums and all the different parts, but I will say that once you get to 65, this is really something that you want to get with a professional that knows a lot about, because there's a lot of different moving pieces with Medicare. Part A, no premiums. Part B, your monthly premium. Medicare supplement insurance, which is known as Medigap. And Part D, which is going to be your prescription drug coverage. So don't quote me, because I don't do healthcare. I don't currently carry my license or anything. My parents are going through it right now through friends. Oh, you got it. You went to this person. They kind of advertise themselves as like healthcare agents. Where can you find them in Appleton? I don't completely know. Has anyone talked to anyone about what their expected costs would be or anything? Based on your prescriptions, I know a lot of times you bring what kind of medications you're in, and they can give you an idea of what your out-of-pocket costs are going to be. But yeah, I don't know 100%. So that might be something that we can look into resources for y'all, because it's very important. Healthcare expenses tend to rise as you age, right? HSA, a tax-free way to pay for medical expenses. Really great account to fund if you haven't already, because when you retire, you can still use those dollars to pay for your medical expenses. So it's something that you can do now to accumulate medical dollars. I like this statistic. 70% of people turning 65 will need long-term care at some point in their lives. So let's look at the cost of that. 70% of people turning 65 will need long-term care at some point in their lives. And this is from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Pretty staggering statistic. Median annual cost of semi-private nursing home based on $225 a day. So over time, that's $82,125 out of pocket for long-term care costs. So what this slide looks at is, what if you just paid for like a policy and you had to pay a long-term care premium to have coverage? So what this slide is saying, so if you paid for a long-term care policy and you paid premiums for 20 years, you would pay about $71,200 in premiums. This is for a generally healthy person. And what this slide is also showing, well, what is the cost of nursing home care? Like, say if you didn't have a long-term care policy, more than just paying those premiums to have a policy. So what this slide is saying is you can pay $71,200 in premiums to have your own long-term care in general. Everyone's long-term care is going to be based on who they are, what their health is. Or if you don't have it, you could possibly pay out of pocket about $82,000 a year just to be in a nursing home. Well, all long-term care plans are a little bit different as well. You know, so you can pay more to have access to care at home, in a nursing home, in a semi-private. So when you buy a long-term care policy, you also buy all the other things that go along with it. You know, if you want to have an environment where you can be in any of those situations at home, you're going to pay more. You know, if you're going to have more coverage, your premium is going to go up. So long-term care policies are still designed by what you want, what you can afford. There's not like a one box, this is a long-term care policy. Going back to your monthly expenses, so we were talking about long-term care costs, we were just talking about health care, also that travel and entertainment. How many people are looking forward to kind of finally being able to say, I'm not working anymore, I'm going on more trips? The go-go years, right? Show of hands, who's excited for that? Awesome. And you probably see that. You probably see, if you have parents or family that have retired, what are they doing those first few years? They're spending a lot of money on going out to eat, going to travel, and then as time goes on, not so much money is spent for that type of a lifestyle due to usually health, maybe running out of money. Another thing, support for aging parents and adult children. You know, that's something really important to look at in terms of your monthly budget when you are in retirement. A lot of people are taking care of the generation above and their children below. I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know how it is around here for Grandparents' Day, but I know at my children's school, now Grandparents' Day is at night and it's not during the day. And the conclusion that I got from the administration was just because so many grandparents are still working, or so many grandparents are still taking care of all these other people, that Grandparents' Day isn't, I'm going to come to my grandchild's school from, you know, noon to 3. They have all these other things going on and things to take care of. So, is it possible that you'll have a retirement income gap? Yeah. So what we're doing today is we're trying to be proactive, trying to know more about it. One of the other, that'll be the next slide. So again, this is what your online account looks like for myOrangeMoney. Shows how your savings percentages are going to affect your monthly retirement income. There's a slider to change. I think I have a point on this? Oops, no. Sorry, I thought I had a little thing. But you can change your contribution rate right there. You can change the age that you're expecting that you're going to retire at to see how it affects your monthly income. So if you're going to take the slider on myOrangeMoney and move it to an older age, then it's going to show that you'll have more money for retirement. If you think you're on track and maybe I want to not retire at 60, but I want to do 55, and you move that toggle, it'll show you how that early retirement age is going to affect your savings. Okay? Then there's also a rate of return that you can change. So if you're a really conservative investor, you can take your slider and maybe move it to like a 3%. If you're in more of our bond, income, stable value type of investments, or if you know that you're getting maybe between 6 and 8% because you're in the market, then you can change how your investments are going to perform over time as well. Really cool tool. How can you close that income gap? You can save more. You can pay down some of those debts by looking at them through that worksheet that I passed out. Where is this money going? Keeping track of it. You can postpone retirement, right? Maybe next year, like you thought was going to be the prime retirement age, maybe it's just not in the books. Maybe you have to stay a little bit longer. Let's talk about Social Security. Who's ready for that? Got some good education here about Social Security. No one really has had any questions thus far. Anyone have anything on their mind right now before we continue? Yes, Doris.
Comment,
Yes.
for everybody to read the fine print if you have long-term care, because my mother is now in assisted living. She paid 18 years into long-term care, and they're not covering her because it's not nursing home. It's assisted living, so reading the fine print.
Yep. And then there's another thing that I'll talk about briefly with long-term care. There's hybrid policies out there that are like a life insurance piece plus a long-term care piece. So if you never use that long-term care benefit, at least your beneficiary gets money in terms of a life insurance death benefit. So a lot of just those standalone long-term care policies, the price is going up, 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 up each year, and they're not regulated by states. So say you never have a long-term care need and you've put $80,000, $100,000 in it, when you die, you're not going to get anything out of it. So the industry has turned more to these hybrid, where there's a life insurance piece if you die and you never use it, you get something, or if you need to access the benefit, you get it, and whatever's left goes on to your beneficiaries as well. So it's kind of a win-win. Someone is getting something. Is there a question? I wouldn't say I'm as much of an expertise to know that. They're becoming more common, so whatever that can do in terms of the pricing, if more people want it. I don't think I've looked at it hard enough to know that, but that's a good question. Could be. But looking at that fine print though, so you're going to get a benefit if you need it. So what is the dollar amount? Is it $1,000 a month? If the benefit is going to be more because you have a long-term care need, your premium is going to be higher. So there's always going to be the trade-off. You know, if you're going to have a policy that you can go anywhere you want, to stay at home, to go to a facility, to go to a nursing home, the price is going to be more. If the policy will only pay out if you go to a nursing home, well then your premium's probably going to be less because it's very restricted. So I hope you're getting the idea. If you do go to the marketplace to look for this long-term care or a hybrid life insurance long-term care kind of policy, there's a lot of moving parts to it. Yes?
A lot of moving parts. My brother, who signed her off, is in insurance. This is what he does for a living. He's not a stranger to bringing insurance companies to court because they won't pay on policies that they should.
Wow.
So he just thought, Mom's covered, period. You know, she's good. They give brochures along with all the information for nursing homes. We assumed, you know, assisted living. At the time, there weren't assisted living, right? It
Right.
was nursing home. So we thought it was one and the same. The verbal conversations weren't in print. She's not covered.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Thanks for sharing that. So on to Social Security. a good start for your retirement income. So Social Security is another part of your retirement income, right? Our orange money will show you what you're getting from Social Security as well. You can always go to ssa.gov, download your statement, and actually use the real numbers that Social Security is looking to pay you instead of just using our general calculator. We have something there quick for you to use, or use your own numbers and put it into My Orange Money. And if all this, using My Orange Money and it's cool, but I don't know what you're talking about, make sure we get a 30-minute appointment. You know, I'm here twice a month. Stay after, we can put you in the calculator so I can help you with what all this means. Technology isn't everyone's friend. Not everyone wants to use an online calculator. Not everyone knows how to use it, but I'm here to just talk in general as well about your retirement if we don't want to go online and do anything. So, first age you can collect Social Security. I should have a football for this one, but I didn't, is age 62. Benefits permanently reduced by about 25 to 30% if you take your Social Security at age 62. So there's different ages you can take Social Security. Full retirement age, 67. And it's based on your birthday. Okay? So if you apply for your benefits at age 62, you have a lifetime benefit reduction of 30%. So as soon as you take it at 62, for the rest of your life, it's been decreased by about 30%. If you delay, say, 4 years, and you take it at age 66, your lifetime benefit has been reduced by about 7%. So the more you delay, the more you get from Social Security. So full retirement age is based on your birthday. So if you're born between 43 and 54, your full retirement age is 66. Each year after 1954, you add 2 months, 66 and 2 months. If you don't know what your full retirement age is, it's on your Social Security statement. It'll tell you. Social Security statements highlight at 62 and full retirement age, what you're going to get in 70. The last age, the max you can get from Social Security is 70. And if you're born after 1960, you don't have to worry about if it's 66 in 3 months or 66 in 5 months for your full retirement benefit. It's 67 right now. So your full retirement benefit after age 60, if you're born after 1960, is 67. Okay? If you wait a few years until 70, like I was talking about, your lifetime benefits go up 8% each year. So what you do is you take the benefit at your full retirement age, say your full retirement age is 67. So from age 67 until 70, your benefit goes up 8% per year. There is money by delaying. But someone tell me what the other side of the coin is. What do I get when I have these conversations? What about when you die? If anyone has ever done a Social Security or an annuity calculation on you, it's all about how long are you going to live, right, to really maximize anything. And we don't know what that date is. So a lot of times the conversation revolves around, well, I want this benefit, I've worked really hard for it, and I'm going to take it as soon as I can. Respect it, right? But just know what that really means and what you're going to be reduced by. Okay. What about if you've been divorced? I'm not going to get into all the little nuances with Social Security because there are some. But I think it's really important to note that your spouse, you could have 50% of your spouse's or yours, whichever benefit is greater. Or say you didn't work a lot or you're a stay-at-home parent, you use your record or 50% of your spouse's, whichever one is more. So sometimes I get in the conversation that, like I was a stay-at-home mom and I'm not going to get anything from Social Security, which really isn't true. You are entitled to 50% of your spouse's benefit, whichever is more. And you don't need to have your spouse there for that, or ex-spouse. Social Security has that on file, what the benefit is going to be. Okay. When do you take your benefit? Early, it's a decreased amount. If you wait, the longer you wait, the more you get. I think we got that under control. longevity, right? Someone said it, was it Tom? You know, people are just living longer, and we have to plan for that. We really do. Everything's going to cost more in the future, right? Inflation. Here's our milk example. $3.50. Give yourself 20 years. It's expected to be $6.37 a gallon. In my household, we go through a gallon of milk a day. And we're in Wisconsin, Dairyland, so probably other people drink a lot of milk as much as we do. Anybody else? Did I beat everyone? Gallon a day? How many? Yeah. So, got to put that in your retirement savings. Milk, just milk. So that idea of inflation is interesting. And the My Orange Money, how we've been talking about that online tool as well, it does take into consideration inflation. So how much more money you'll need, and taking 70% of that. So $75,000 of income today, in 10 years, that same $75,000, you're going to need $101,000 with inflation, with the rising cost of goods. Kind of crazy. How about 20 years down the road? So that $75,000 a year that you're taking out of your retirement account. So imagine you're retired. I've got a lot of money in this account. I can draw down $75,000 a year. Well, you're in retirement a long time. You're in retirement for 20 years. You're going to need more like $136,000 from that account for it to feel like $75,000 20 years ago. Drastic different numbers, right? That's just showing the power of inflation. Managing risk. Be smart about retirement account withdrawals. What does that mean? We were talking about it this morning, right? Maybe taking 4% out per year. You know, some people want to take 6, 7% out of their retirement accounts per year. What do you have to think about, though, when you're taking that money out of your account? What's your thought process? Reducing your principal, thank you, especially with your investments. What if you're in something too risky? You take, 6, 7% per year out, and maybe your account balance drops 10%. How you're invested really matters. How about taxes? I get this question a lot. When you're in retirement and you're starting to take out from your deferred comp, from the city of Appleton, your withdrawals, you're going to have to pay taxes on this money if you're in the pre-tax. We're moving towards more people in the Roth, which is the after-tax. So if you have after-tax money when you're in retirement, you're not going to have to worry about your tax bracket or your taxes. So some of you might start thinking, do I have Roth? Do I have Roth contributions going on? Because I'm going to have to pay this tax at some point, right? So what's your federal income tax bracket going to be that Voya is going to withhold from your 457 account? What's the automatic? Higher than 15, 20. So it is an IRS rule. We're going to withhold 20%. Even if you request 5%, 10% on your federal, it's 20%. We're going to withhold 20%. Now, if you're not in the 20th percentile, you'll get that money back at tax time. If we've withheld too much on the federal end, you'll get that back. But we're going to withhold 20% from your withdrawal. State is optional. Yep, and so usually people are going to withhold between 3 and 5 depending on what's going on with the state income tax brackets for that year. So what are we looking at? State plus federal, 25%. Just 25% of that withdrawal is just going to pay your taxes on it. Okay, so starting to think about what does it mean when I'm in retirement as I start taking withdrawals. We have to start thinking about even now the investments, the taxes, inflation, all these things. Sound complicated? Doesn't it help to have someone along the road with you? So we really tout having an advisor, having some outside help with all of this. I'm the on-site person for Appleton. You're more than welcome to stay here, and we want you to stay here post-retirement. This is a really great plan. It has a lot of great investments. The costs are low. It's really hard to get all the different types of investments that you have here at an average about a 0.5%. If you take your money with you somewhere else, it's really hard to get a 0.5% all in fees. Okay, what about just the true nature of a 457 account? When you retire, regardless of age, there's no 59.5 restriction. You can start using this money as soon as you retire from the city, regardless of age. If you take your money and you roll it into an IRA, you're going to have to wait till you're 59.5. So keeping the money here in the plan, fees are really important. Compare the investments. There's a lot of choice. You've got target date funds, you have portfolios, you have all asset classes, okay? And also just the true nature of how a 457 works. As soon as you're done, you can start taking your withdrawals. Just pay your taxes if you're in the pre-tax, okay? Any, Chris or Tom want to add to that? Because we were having some discussions kind of today about that, or Natalie, about all the main ones. Cool. So there's some statistics out there of people that get help from advisors, financial professionals, certified financial planners. You know, some of them have different acronyms. And people that don't get any help and they just do it themselves. So on average, people that get help have about a 2% higher return per year, which adds up over time. What do advisors help with? We help with having the appropriate type of investment. So again, why I'm here twice a month on site. I go to City Hall, I go to police, fire, library, Marian University, maybe we'll be here going forward, is to help you see the pros and the cons of your investments. See your portfolio. Are you in just one investment? If you're in just one investment, is that diverse enough for you? Or are you in a portfolio where you have multiple investments? Either the portfolios that the city through ANCO has for you, or a portfolio meaning multiple different funds that you're in to spread out your risk. We were looking at a few of the portfolios today actually, and some of the portfolios have over 10,000 different stocks in them that are offered here through your own employer plan. Pretty cool. If one goes bankrupt or isn't doing too well, and there's 10,000 of these different companies, you're probably not overnight going to lose a ton of money. It's just laying out your risk, right? So advisors help you to understand the type of investment you're in. I help educate you. Diversification, rebalancing. Over time, if your account has been doing really well with equity type of investments, you can get overweighted in that and you can be out of balance. You could have too much risk. So it's just helping you see, is this the type of investments I should be in? And then tax impacts on your retirement. We talk about that as well. There is a second handout on your table, and that's the personalized personal financial dashboard. We'll talk about what that is. Pretty cool. So, I'm sorry. We'll put that down for a second. There's a Morningstar. There's a Morningstar service, and that's where you pay an extra fee, and you can have your investments moved by a third-party company called Morningstar. We don't have a lot of folks in the plan that are signed up for this Morningstar service, but it is available where you can, you know, kind of take that thought of where should I move my money as the market's going up or the market's going down. It automatically moves your money for you. So that is available through the City of Appleton 457. So what's next? We got some steps, and then we'll call it a day. And I still have 3 footballs, so maybe someone wants a football. Natalie wants a football. Dave wants a football. So what are some things that you should do after you leave here? What are some good takeaways? So do you know your retirement expenses? I love the age of a lot of people in here. I think this is a really good good age in this room to start looking at this stuff. Sometimes when I speak to crowds, I've got 30-year-olds, which that's great. Let's talk about retirement expenses, but it's not so much a reality. It's becoming more and more a reality probably for a lot of you in this room today. Estimate your retirement expenses. You can do that through that nice brochure that I provided there that breaks down a lot of the categories. Through Voya.com, we have a budgeting calculator. The other way that you can estimate your retirement expenses is now through this. So the personal financial dashboard. This is available online through your account, right under the My Orange Money tab, and you can link your credit cards, your banking to this program, and it will track all of your spending habits for you. So it'll show you what, in a pie chart, what are you spending on groceries? What are you spending on eating out? It will also do a net worth, so it'll look at where all your money is in terms of your assets and where are all of your debts. And it'll help calculate that for you. You can put goals on there. You can put spending goals. It'll tell you when you've reached a spending goal. Has anyone tried or set up the financial dashboard in here? It's a really cool tool, especially if you're maybe paying for a service, that this will do a lot of what other services can do for you, and it's already included in your online account. It is definitely for people, though, that trust linking their credit cards. I know that's not for everyone, but it tracks your spending habits through all these different mediums that you're using. All the plastic, all the credit card transactions that you're doing, it tracks it. So going back to what are some good things to do, estimate your retirement expenses, what's your monthly income goal, identify your retirement income sources, so what are you getting from pension, WRS, Social Security, deferred comp, looking at what are those hard numbers that I'm going to need to fit my lifestyle based on my budget. Okay? Close that income gap. If you've got a few years until retirement, now is the time to take action, right? Now is the time to say, I need this money because I looked at my budget. This is what's coming in. It's not enough. This is what I need to do now because I have time. And plan for your risks. Voya's here every step of the way. And that's it. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. For a football.
With the HSA accounts,
Yes.
now we can put in pre-tax money. Can you do that with the Voya account?
With
After you're retired? Can you take money from that and put it in your HSA?
no, it has to come off of your payroll. So any contributions into your 457 account while you're employed comes off of payroll. Once you're retired, if you want to roll over like a 401k or an IRA retirement accounts that are already there and consolidate them in, you can do that. But we won't take, right, Natalie, an HSA rollover because HSA is just for healthcare related things. It's a separate entity.
Like if you were saying I'm going to take $1,000 a year
Out of,
out of the retirement account when I retire,
gotcha, and fund.
put it in my HSA account if I have an HSA insurance after
I don't know enough about that. Can you take your after-tax dollars and put it into HSA? I don't know. Is HSA based on having earned income? Like if you have a 1099, a W-2 job, IRS allows you to put money into an HSA. So it is for your working years as well. So you can't, once you're done, HSA is going to go away. You can't put new dollars into an HSA, just like you can't put new contributions.
I thought only after once you're drawn Social Security, then you can't put it in HSA 6 months before. Right, to have a high deductible health plan. Yeah, but he would have that. You can't contribute to an HSA 6 months before you draw Social Security. Other than that, I don't believe there's rules for that, is there?
I'll get some clarification. I could probably even just look it up before we leave. Yeah. Isn't someone doing a specific HSA presentation today? Yeah, we're going to knock on his door. Exactly. I don't control like HSA plans, so I apologize for not having the knowledge base. I always just see people using it in retirement, you know, if they get the idea of that early on to try and max it out so that you have this money for health care. I see just people spending it, so you're probably right. So I'll look it up. The IRS.gov website is great. There's so much information. It's overwhelming. Any other questions? Natalie has a question. Yes. No. Yes, you have to have an enroll. You have to be enrolled in the plan, and the city doesn't automatically enroll you. You can either go to a self-enrollment, enroll.voya.com, or I can enroll you on site or in a meeting, that kind of thing. Yeah, good question though. We have like a public version at voya.com for the My Orange Money, but it's not very detail oriented. It's kind of just real general, where when you have your deferred comp and you log in and you look at the My Orange Money there, it's actually tied to your deferred comp. It just has more bells and whistles than just like the public version that's out there. It's pretty general, the one that's not tied. Oh, and that's a football question. 1% or $10. Yeah. We just talked about this earlier today, just that influence, you know. I'm up here all the time saying how great deferred comp is, but it's also talk to someone in your department that's like a supervisor or a mentor. They'll probably say, I don't know what I was doing, but my supervisor took me by the hand and said, sign this up. And then 5 years later, I was like, I was so happy I did that. Or 10 years later, or 20 years later, or right before retirement, I was like, I'm so glad I did this. You know, so if what I'm talking about isn't your thing, or it's kind of confusing, find someone in your department that has done this and can kind of give you also the ropes of what it is to be a part of the deferred comp. Has anyone experienced that, where they've actually taken, not literally, we'll say figuratively speaking, someone by the hand and said, just do this because you'll be happy later? If not, I need champions. I need like a group of you that say, Julie, I did that. Has anyone been approached by someone that said, you need to do this? Julie. Yes. Yep. Exactly. And let's put our shoes in some of the new hires or the younger people. They're really overwhelmed. So I'm not saying like blaming them for not doing it or anything, but be patient with a lot of them. They just have found out about a pension. A lot of them don't even know what the pension is. I do a lot of education. Just this is deferred comp. This is extra retirement savings. You know, this is your pension. You work this amount of years, this salary. This is what you're going to get. You know, investment risk is on WRS. Investment risk is on you. You know, they're signing up beneficiaries, they're signing all these forms, health, you know, a lot of them that first 6 months to a year, we need to be a little bit patient and keep on reiterating all this stuff that they're doing. Have them sit down with them and look at even their paycheck. You know, what does even all these subtractions mean? You know, that's really an important lesson. They don't teach the stuff in school, right? They don't teach what a retirement account is or what pensions are. Many people don't even have pensions anymore, you know, so if you can do that next time I see you, say I help one of the younger folks just understand something about this thing called retirement. You'll make me and everyone else really happy. And that deserves a football, Kathleen, right? That deserves a football. Do you guys like the stuff? I want to thank Natalie for getting my butt in gear and saying like 8 weeks ago, Julie, Appleton needs some really good surprises. Get them all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah. If everyone doesn't know Natalie, she's our strategic what's your partner? She oversees what I do. She told me today she was just going to be the cheerleader as well. All the way from Denver. Yes. Oh yeah, our app. Who knows the app? Voya Retire. A lot of our participants are engaged mobily. We've got a lot of people on the app, Voya Retire in the App Store, for sure. And you can do My Orange Money through the app as well. No, no, that's not on there. That personal financial dashboard is like, has a lot going on. You're gonna wanna be on a larger screen. There's about 5 things at the top that you can look at goals and adding things. So you're gonna not wanna just be on a phone trying to look at stuff. It's a real comprehensive financial tool. Yep, for sure. All right, I think we're done for this session. Yes.
You can only contribute to an HSA until you enroll or become entitled in Medicare Part D benefits. There's more to it, I don't know.
So we're around 65 is probably what we're thinking. Oh, nice. Because there's the annual IRS contribution limits. 60, is it 6,500 this year for family? Very nice. It's a lot of money for healthcare. Thank you. All right. Thank you all.